Hey, good afternoon, y'all. Um, they're making me go to some meeting I have during our class today, and the semester's winding up. I already told y'all that you're going to watch a video on Friday, and that means Monday is going to be test number 3. So I'm going to cover some things in this video that will probably be on the test, hint, hint. But also, I'm going to give you some more questions from that video. We ended the video, which the link is online, the advertising sell and spin video, at 50 minutes into the video, so you're responsible for watching the rest of the video, the second half of it. So go ahead and do that on Friday, and I'll get some questions up there for you guys that will probably be on the test regarding that. Now, the test on Monday will be, and I'll give you through Tuesday to take the test because I'm going to get a review up for you, hopefully by the end of the day today, for the test. So that'll cover television, PR advertising, the convergence stuff. What does Google know about you? Facebook know about you? All that kind of stuff. But don't worry, I'll give you a review for the test. So with that in mind, let me move forward to some just some stuff with public relations and advertising that I think we should cover before we say goodbye. Going on to your Moodle, you'll see the section Public Relations and Advertising, and you'll see Advertising Sell and Spin video. You'll see the oh no, don't worry about that one. But as you go further down, you'll see a few other links: the Tylenol news story, Tylenol commercial, Tylenol public relations, and what is it? Advertising links. And under advertising links, and we'll start with that one first. You'll see some videos that I'm going to actually show you here on this video, but if you need to get to them, and I will refer to some that aren't on this video right here. So first off, the first video you're going to see there is one that says BP, and I'm going to play the video for you now.
When BP made a commitment to the Gulf, we knew it would take time, but we were determined to see it through. Today, while our work continues, I want to update you on the progress. BP has set aside $20 billion to fund economic and environmental recovery. We're paying for all spill-related cleanup costs, and we've established a $500 million fund so independent scientists can study the Gulf's wildlife and environment for 10 years. Thousands of environmental samples from across the Gulf have been analyzed by independent labs under the direction of the U.S. Coast Guard. I'm glad to report all beaches and waters are open for everyone to enjoy. And the economy is showing progress, with many areas on the Gulf Coast having their best tourism seasons in years. I was born here, I'm still here, and so is BP. We're committed to the Gulf, for everyone who loves it and everyone who calls it home.
Now, as you can see in that video, that it's really making everything look really wonderful going on here in the Gulf South. You see, British Petroleum had this, of course, British guy that is running the company, and they found that when he was getting up there on camera and talking, it just seemed a little snooty. It just seemed like it didn't resonate with Americans that, oh, he really gives a damn about us. And as a matter of fact, he made some public flubs, saying, hey, I don't get to sleep at night because I'm dealing with this, and we're like, well, who gives a damn about your sleep? Y'all screwed up bad. So they decided that they needed to really have somebody representative of us. So they chose that African American lady that you saw in the video just now because, she looks like us. She makes us feel at home. She makes us feel comfortable with it. So they have her giving us the message that BP is great. Well, as I've told y'all before, that this message wasn't for us in Louisiana. It wasn't for people in Mississippi or anywhere on the Gulf Coast, because there's not a whole lot that BP can do to make us feel good about them. What BP wanted to do was build their reputation around the rest of the United States. So the things that they said on there, how everything's coming back and how much work BP has done and how much money they did and how great the Gulf Coast is all them telling the rest of the country, look, we've done a lot down here. BP's great. We're awesome. And when the rest of the country hears us down south bitch that BP didn't pay these people, didn't do what they're supposed to, they watch this commercial and go, what's wrong with those people down there? They're just had their hands out. They're just trying to cash in on this. So this was a big public relations move by BP to make the rest of the country feel good about who BP is, and maybe even make them think that we're we're just reaching for handouts and trying to get money that we don't deserve. So that's what was going on there. The next links, which I'm not going to play here, I'm talking about advertisements. Through that history of advertising that you guys are watching, we watched once and we're going to watch the rest on Friday. There's a lot of history in there, but there's newer ways of advertising. Even though some of these videos are kind of old, it says in-game ads. Video games are a way to reach a market that they've always had advertisers had troubles reaching. Video games reach those sort of men between the ages of 16 through early 30s nowadays playing video games. So putting ads in video games seemed like a natural thing to do to reach these people who aren't watching TV as much as they used to. They're obviously not reading magazines or reading newspapers because they're playing video games all the time. That's how they reach. And I know it's sexist to say to reach guys in that age, but that's what the demographic is, who they're trying to reach by advertising during video games. Video games nowadays are pretty cool though, where they can change ads because you're downloading content. Your games aren't even on cartridges or discs anymore. You're sort of streaming them, I guess, per se, that you're playing these games online. So they can change the advertisements and sell advertisements over and over again to different people. The two that I have there are just examples of one fighting game where they're advertising an Intel chip on it, and the other one is a FIFA EA Sports game where along this all over the stadium you'll see advertisements for different products. Not playing that one for you. But the next one is something that we're all familiar with, viral advertising. Now, the one I'm going to play for you in a second is a viral advertisement put out by Burger King you may not have heard of or seen, but it was very successful. I'm not playing the advertisement. I'm playing a news story on the advertisement for y'all in just 1 second. But this just shows that being creative and not having to pay for this ad by putting it on YouTube or somewhere where people can go watch it for free, or stream it on a website where people can go watch it for free. That's a lot easier than paying, or a lot cheaper, of course, than paying to put it on television. Viral ads are hard to force, though. You can't just go out there and say, I'm going to create something viral. It's going to be kind of hard to do that and to do something well and actually have it go viral. So, but Burger King seemed to do it here, and a lot of other ones have done it also. So right here is a subservient chicken news story when Burger King was promoting their chicken sandwiches.
Music.
Chicken, just the way you like it.
There's chicken you serve, and now there's subservient chicken. The subservient chicken will do almost anything you tell him.
And with those wings? Watch your beak.
Type touch your toes, he'll touch his toes. Hop on one foot, even do the moonwalk.
Chicken, dance.
The look of love.
The subservient chicken has become a web sensation.
If you drive people to a website where they can give a subservient chicken orders in a really kind of seamy living room that looks like a low-quality porn film, people are going to be interested.
This will go down as one of the marketing case studies of all time. It's called viral marketing. Instead of launching a flashy TV ad campaign, the ad agency for Burger King was charged with reaching young people, especially males 20 to 30. The average person on this site stays 6+ minutes. That's a long time.
10 people at the agency told their friends who told their friends. Millions of hits every day to order around the chicken, and they sold a lot of chicken at Burger King.
They've hit it out of the park with this one.
This is the Burger King Have It Your Way slogan campaign.
The chicken will also respond to chicken sandwich, yoga, and disco.
Well, this is their chicken, and he wants you to have it your way.
Bend over, please.
We want him to do a handstand.
That's very good. Look at that! Nicely done.
What is the chicken about?
Oh, we're going to get to that.
All right,
that's the best part.
I just love a man in a chicken suit with garters.
We all do.
Oh, I'm supposed to not notice that yet, did I? Excuse me for noticing the guy dressed in the chicken outfit.
And part of the power of this is that, you would send that to me and say, check this out. So without paying anything, you've spread the word.
Exactly.
And
it costs them nothing.
How do we take the unique message that we bring to the marketplace of have it your way, and how do we take that out to a very important demographic group? And the web is clearly the way to go.
Why just order chicken when you can order one around?
So funny, right?
New Tender Crisp is here. All white meat wrapped in a tempting crisp deliciousness. Have it your way.
Now, another underhanded way that we get advertised to is called stealth marketing, where we're not even realizing that we're being marketed to. And this next video, sort of shows that. There's an old video also, because as you see, the camera phone that they're using in there is like the first camera phone ever made, and we're all used to having camera phones nowadays. But you're going to see a couple there that's pretending like, ooh, look at this, and people walking by. Well, you'll see in the video. And then the second part is advertising some kind of game glove for playing video games on your computer. And you'll see with the stealth marketing that this is this right? Is this morally right? Is this some way we should be reaching people by advertising to people without them even knowing that they're being advertised to, that they're being marketing to? There was a movie that came out a few years back called Keeping Up with the Joneses, which was all about this, where it was a fake family that moves into a neighborhood, and every member of the family, when the kids go to high school, they have all the new clothes and new everything. So and they show it to all the other kids, and the other kids go to the stores and start buying it. The dad plays golf, and when he's playing golf, he shows them, oh, look at my new golf club. People want to buy it. The mother hosts people over at the house, hosts parties and all that, and she's promoting products. So that's a cool movie to check out. It's not a great movie, but it's a pretty cool movie to check out to see how far advertisers and marketers may go just to sell us stuff, and for us to not even be aware that we're being sold to. So here's a video on stealth marketing, and it discusses the morality of this type of marketing.
Brings us to something called undercover marketing, marketing by masquerade, stealth marketing.
Let me give you a quick definition of stealth marketing. Stealth marketing is marketing to people when they don't even realize that they're being marketed to. It's kind of that real.
Somewhere in downtown New York, a secret plan is being hatched.
It's got to be totally under the radar. You're going to have fun with this.
They've been assembled by a company called Essential Reality, which has launched a new product called the P5 Glove, a cutting-edge device that video gamers can use to fly planes and fire weapons on their computers with a twitch of a finger.
And we're going to go into coffee bars and crowded places. Your job is to go out there and have fun with it and say, yeah, sure, come on, you want to try it? Great, try. And all of a sudden, you just involve them with the brand. And then feed them a few sound bites along the way. Hey, you're in there. It's like, look at this. It's like you're in the game. It's like you're in the game. That's a good sound bite.
Inside a nearby Starbucks, Theo and Kumani could be any of 1,020,somethings hanging out, obsessed with their new toy. Not pitching anything, just waiting for someone to approach them. And so were we with an undercover camera.
It works well?
It works really well. Try it on for a couple of minutes, in like a minute, you'll see this thing just moves fluidly.
Bingo, Mr. Curious plays right into Theo's hands.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. If you want, y'all, I can email you the information about it.
The fish just keep taking the bait.
That's cool. This is so cool.
You know, I have some information that I can email you.
Let's do it.
Okay, give me...
About this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
Above all, they never let on. They're on the job.
It's like you're actually moving inside the game. It's like you're moving inside the game.
No one is overtly trying to sell you anything, only trying to get you to want it. And then, of course, buy it and tell your friends about it.
It's only going to get lighter, you know what I'm saying?
Not soft sell or hard sell, secret sell.
Go ahead, get this guy in the business suit.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of me and my boyfriend?
When Sony Ericsson wanted to promote its hot new gadget, a cell phone that takes pictures, beyond conventional advertising, they launched an undercover campaign called Fake Tourist.
Excuse me, ladies. Sorry to bother you.
60 actors took to the streets of 10 cities, irresistibly innocent-looking, seeking a small favor.
Excuse me, you mind taking a picture of us? Thanks a lot, man. It's cool, right?
The undercover operation was the brainchild of Sony Ericsson's director of marketing, John Marin.
That was an easy way to create a very non-evasive, interesting conversation with somebody without the pressure of it feeling like this is a pitch.
Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote about such things in his book, The Tipping Point, thinks undercover marketing is a bit of a con game.
Well, there's an element, obviously, of deception involved that I don't think is the case in conventional advertising. I mean, conventional advertising is about trying to charm us or trying to persuade us, but it's not usually about trying to trick us. And it's the trickery part, I think, that makes this different. A line is crossed, I think, when you go outside of those normal boundaries and start to deceive people in ways that they are, where they are totally unwitting to what's going on.
Critics of this kind of advertising would say there's something slightly subversive about it, it's conning people. It's a question of ethics.
The majority of the people that we polled found it interesting, fun, and innovative. They didn't find it at all, to use your words, deceptive or subversive. I mean, it was simply that they enjoyed a new way to see a cool new product.
Cool new products are the lifeblood of undercover marketing. And these are the kinds of cool people the marketers want to get to. Want to get them to not just buy, but get them talking about a product. Word of mouth, buzz, the least expensive, most effective form of advertising. But can buzz be manufactured?
Part of what makes real word of mouth so powerful is the understanding we have from that the person telling us about it is telling us about it for disinterested reasons. They're not being paid by somebody. They have our interests at heart. That is worlds apart from a situation where the person telling us something is telling us that because they have some private agenda. They're getting paid, they're being planned. But my problem with undercover marketing is not what happens in the moment. It's what happens a week or 2 weeks or a month down the road when we discover we've been duped. And I think that the moment when we discover we've been duped causes a backlash. Companies who engage in this practice are courting that backlash, and that's a very, very dangerous thing to play with.
After the stealth campaign at Starbucks, we tracked down some of the people lured into using the computer glove.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. I'm marketed to like 24 hours a day.
But some felt it was untruth in advertising. John Flaherty didn't like being taken.
It just seemed to be like a nice, friendly encounter and kind of restores your faith in your fellow New Yorkers, and then to find out it was all fake. It's just kind of, I don't know. I don't like the ring of it.
Undercover is where you'd expect to find cigarettes and smokers these days. But there's a whole host of wholesome household names stalking you.
Sure. I mean, some of the clients that I can't speak about because of the contracts that we have with them, they talk about the fact that, you know, this kind of marketing needs to stay undercover, and they pay us a lot of money to keep it that way.
Do you like it?
Undercover marketing hasn't eclipsed the old-fashioned kind, but it's growing.
It's good, right?
And if you think you haven't run into an undercover marketer yet, well, that's the point.
Product placements have become really big. I showed you some when we talked about movies and product placements in movies, but product placements are everywhere in all media. And this next video is just a little bit more about product placements and how prevalent it is, and a little bit about the history of product placements. But you know, you got to know when you're watching a television show or a movie and you see, you know, a Coke can, or you see them going to a KFC, or you see any of those things, or the clothes they're wearing, that it's probably product placement. That's part of being media literate, which this course was about, for you to recognize these things that are happening and know that, you know, granted, you might go buy a Coke because you saw it there, but you know that it wasn't there on accident, that, you know, all this was purposeful. You know, just going back to Reese's Pieces with E.T. and Ray-Ban glasses during Risky Business with Tom Cruise.
Thing of beauty.
Oh, just call me Quincy.
After you get to know me, buddy, you can call me Quint.
Oh, throw me the lifesaver. The lifesaver. Oh, Professor Wagstaff. Please, hurry, Professor. Oh.
Beyond the physical height, come imitating telepathic light. Someone who really cares gives you all that you need.
Jeez. I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Power laces, all right.
To be or not to be, that is the question. And there's the respect that makes calamity of so long a life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the proud man's contumely?
No, what's with this cocktail guy anyway? He says I saved his life, which I'm not even sure I did, and my reward is dinner and dancing at Taco Bell. I mean, hey, I like Mexican food, but come on.
Your tone is quasi-facetious, but you do not realize that Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars.
So?
So? Now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
Dinner and dancing at Pizza Hut? I mean, hey, I like a big fat piece of pizza, but come on.
Your tone is quasi-facetious, but you do not realize that Pizza Hut was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars.
Play any music. I don't have any time to play any music. Don't touch me!
Welcome to the target team.
You're locking me in?
Boo. Then, one wild night, Jim Dodge finally found the real thing. In aisle 5.
What are you doing here?
I work here.
Welcome.
Talk about a hole-in-one.
Subway sandwiches will drive away your hunger.
That commercial put us up to $275,000. Let's go get your house back.
Release the awesome.
Popeye's chicken is the shiznit.
I'm so happy I got the Big Bacon Classic. Thanks for stopping, buddy. This is unbelievable.
Happy to do it, Dean.
How's that frosty treating you, Cecil?
What if you could solve everything?
I'm looking for a universal remote control.
They're going on a trip.
Get up, we're going to White Castle. Do you happen to know how to get to the White Castle?
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
And you signed a contract guaranteeing him certain concessions, one of them being a spot on the show.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
Basically, it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out. Garth, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Do you know there's a fight club up in Delaware City?
Yeah, I heard.
Well, be careful.
This is a V12 09 Caddy, 750 horsepower, $500,000 car.
Now back to public relations just for a moment. I have some links here about Tylenol. And what Tylenol did back in the 80s, and I remember it because I was pretty young, maybe it was the 70s, I don't exactly remember. They say the date in here, I'm sure. But anyway, what happened with Tylenol back then is they pulled off the greatest PR move maybe any product has ever done. I mean, nowadays, all of us take Tylenol, and most of us take Tylenol, and we don't think anything of it. Tylenol's safe, and you know, we trust Tylenol. But that wasn't always the case. As you'll see in this next video, which is a news story, Tylenol had a scare. People were dying from taking Tylenol, and what Tylenol did was incredible in that they sort of pulled all their medicine off the shelves all over the country at a great expense to their company, and they reinvented the way that we take medicine. They put the tops on the the little plastic things when you open up your medicine now that you have to peel off. They put the cotton inside of it to just to protect us, which everybody uses now. Well, what Tylenol also did, and you have to watch the other videos on Tylenol here to understand it, is that they put a PR blitz out there saying, we understand, we're taking responsibility, we're making sure that all our products are safe, and they trained their president and vice presidents and spokespeople for the company to go out all over the country and talk about Tylenol. They sent stuff to journalists all over the country to explain what's going on with Tylenol, and made their president and other people in the company available for interviews, but train these people so that they know what to say. So with all these efforts, and you need to watch the other videos that I'm not going to show right now that are on Moodle to understand what happened with Tylenol, and there will be questions on the test about what Tylenol did and why it was so important.
Thanks, Pete and Robin. Extra-strength Tylenol capsules laced with a cyanide are linked with 5 deaths in Chicago, and that number might be changed to 6. Some of the bottles from the affected shipment have been found in Florida. Eckerd Drugstores in Clearwater reports that they pulled them off the shelf within hours of hearing about the potentially deadly pills. But as Chris Abel reports, none have been found in Central Florida.
Poison Control, can I help you?
For nearly 1 solid hour, nurses at the Orlando Regional Medical Center comforted fears of local residents. Callers had heard news that cyanide-contaminated Tylenol capsules had killed 6 people in Chicago. Authorities suspect sabotage. Here, nurses report no cyanide cases.
We are letting know what the number is, the lot number, and giving them some symptoms and just basically reassurance.
Across the Orlando area, stores check their extra-strength Tylenol stock. Many stores removed it, like stores in 31 other states. But here, some stores left the product, pending further word from their corporate headquarters.
This bottle of Tylenol came from a box with a manufacturer's code that was different than the code reportedly contaminated. Upon checking, Eyewitness News discovered that no store in the Orlando area carried the contaminated bottles.
None of the merchandise we had in our stores matched the manufacturer code number that was supposed to be contaminated.
So why'd you pull it off the shelf?
Just to be on the safe side until we can find more information out on it.
The Tylenol manufacturer has recalled 93,000 bottles of the suspect lot. They were manufactured in August. Florida did receive some of those bottles. Medical authorities in Chicago are recommending that no one take the Tylenol capsule until authorities obtain more information. In Orange County, Chris Abel, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And finally with this, and I may give y'all some more notes and stuff before Friday, another video talking about a few things, but I just wanted to share these 2 commercials with you. because times have changed. We don't see cigarette commercials on television anymore, but it was a common thing in the past. And with that, this first one is Lucy and Desi. This isn't even a commercial. This is part of their show where they're promoting cigarettes.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Hey, the last one. You better get another pack.
Okay.
Thank you. You probably think that we're making a big fuss over a cigarette. Well, sure. You don't really have to keep this wonderful new king-size Philip Morris cigarette in a safe. It's just our way of telling you that they are kind of precious. The finest king-size cigarette in America today. Smooth, mild, and mellow, and easy on your throat. How about you trying them yourself? Just call for Philip Morris, king-size or regular. Buy them by the carton. You're gonna love them, and we're gonna love you. Hey, what was that for?
You said it so beautifully.
Good night, everybody.
See you next week.
Lucille Ball and Piarnez will be back next week at the same time.
And this next one sort of blows people away because it's the Flintstones promoting smoking cigarettes. But you got to realize the Flintstones are like Family Guy and The Simpsons today. The Flintstones weren't meant to be a children's television show. It was meant to be a primetime sitcom, just a cartoon set in the Stone Age. So it wasn't really meant for kids. Granted, it's not as risque as cartoons meant for adults nowadays. But the Flintstones was not meant to be 100% a children's cartoon. So that's why they got away with selling cigarettes. Here's the Flintstones.
They sure work hard, don't they, Barney? Yeah? I hate to see them work so hard. Yeah, me too. Let's go around back where we can't see them. Gee, we ought to do something, Fred. Okay. How's about taking a nap? Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's it. Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred. Filter blend makes the big taste difference, and only Winston has it up front where it counts. Here, ahead of the pure white filter. Winston packs rich tobaccos specially selected and specially processed for good flavor in filter smoking. Yeah, Barney, Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
The Flintstones has been brought to you by Winston, America's best-selling, best-tasting filter cigarette.
Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Well, that's all I got for today. I will get a review up for you hopefully by the end of the day today. If you have any questions, email me. Friday I won't be out, so you need to watch that video. So you guys have a good weekend. It seems as if we're not going to meet in person again. So, hey, have a great summer, and stop by my office if you need anything. Thank y'all.